What is going on, YouTube? Past the Prop is back. We have an NBA or MLB only show. Wow, I'm still stuck in the NBA MLB spot, but we have an MLB only show today for you guys. Joined as always by my guy Stu. How you doing, man? How was the weekend?
It was a good weekend. It was a relaxing weekend. I mean, obviously we had some fun tournament stuff in the women's game over there. I enjoyed watching those games. The championship was good. Even caught a little bit of WrestleMania last night as well. You know, just a lot of fun stuff going on. So it's a little break. Obviously, no NBA today, a full-on MLB and then college football or college basketball championship slate. So I'm excited. I'll have a lot of bets tonight. This MLB slate's looking really good. I was starting to think today was going to be one of the best slates in the world because they started putting up NBA lines last night as well, and I was like, oh my god! But I realized those were for tomorrow, so we got another day to sit on those NBA lines. Definitely excited for today's slate. I think we got some good bets.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of today's slate. Looking at these over already, I have quite a few bets I like and quite a few spots that I'm looking to bet. And MLB is so much nicer than NBA when it comes down to switching lineups and give me lineups 3 hours early. Thank God I don't have to fucking wait till 5 minutes before. So just my little mini rant here. NBA sucks for that. You can't. It's right now, dude. DFS is impossible. I haven't even played NBA because it's like, dude, you don't even know who's playing until 3 minutes before, and some of them even sit after that. You know, so it's kind of annoying there. But at least MLB helps us out a little bit.
Yeah, and then even in basketball, even when you think you have some edges, like I had a buddy who was messaging me like, oh, it's the Marc Gasol jersey retirement, so they're going to sit all their starters the first day, and then they're going to play them the next day, right? And so they did sit all their starters the first day, so I know people that hammered those second, and then they sat them again. Like, you know, they weren't even saving them. It's just that time of year, so it's rough. Like you said, be very, very careful making NBA bets before 20 minutes before lock. You know, that's what it feels like right now, unfortunately. But luckily for us, like you said, MLB is not the same. Obviously, even some teams like the Reds just give them out at like the beginning of the day. Like we got legends over in the MLB, so we got to appreciate those lineups and hopefully take advantage of that today.
Yeah, all reliable. You got to love that, and it makes our job a lot easier as well when we're digging in and diving in here. So I'm loving today's slate. I know you cashed another long shot on our last show. Well, that was awesome. We ended up cashing Trey Jameson double counting for us. So that's awesome to see that. I think that was 2 of them. I don't even know. I didn't even watch it. How did Jabari do?
We got hooked here, unfortunately. That's why we needed the long shot so bad. Jabari ended right on 24 in this one. It was a bummer for me on that, obviously. And then the next game? This guy's playing 40 minutes a game. How are we not getting 25 PR? I don't know. But yeah, got a little hook right here.
Yeah, no, I thought I saw he had a double or something too. So he had like the rebounds. I saw he had like 14 rebounds or
I believe so.
Something
Yeah,
like that, and he still didn't get, which is nuts because I saw 8 and had a big day. So I saw him. He was like, somebody tweeted about him in one of my DFS things, and I was watching. He's like, oh my god, who would have thought at this point in the season this guy would be in the optimal lineup? It's DeAndre Ayton with like a 58. Like, come on, dude. Like, who was expecting him to actually continue to keep playing and trying right now at this point in the season? I ended up losing this one. Kyle Tucker did not get there. But we did end up getting my other spot. Where was it? The Acuna, Grayson Rodriguez. Grayson Rodriguez. Wow, man, that was sweaty as hell, man. 2 strikeouts through 4 innings. Just mows him in the 5th and 6th. Ends up with 7 Ks. You gotta love it. Gotta love the upside of that guy. Really struggled early, and I was like, all right, this is dead. Acuna got his hit pretty early. I'm like, all right, well, this is dead. And then I look at it 3 hours later, and Grayson Rodriguez at 7 Ks hits his actual K prop, which was pretty nice to see.
Yeah, obviously a little sweaty, but it got the job done. Grayson now 2 for 2 for us so far in the season. So I'm excited. I'm going to have to get a jersey if this guy gets it done for us next time as well.
Yeah, I'm kind of upset about my Aaron Judge call because he hit this the next 3 days since. And Kikuchi, again, I told you, I'm usually good at picking his good and bad days. And I was wrong. He had a good day and absolutely shoved on him. So shout out Kikuchi. This was my first time really feeling shitty about it because I've been pretty good on my calls on Yusei, but this one he got me. So congrats to him. Had a great outing, and yeah, it was good. Good finish for him.
Yeah, I hate that guy. He's so like all these pitchers that can go from like high level performance to 10 runs, keeping up is very tough. Couple of guys like that today on the slate, honestly, and even one that you like in Barrios as well. These guys that have these high floor, high ceiling games, they're very tough to bet on for me.
Oh, for sure. And yeah, we'll talk about him here in a second. So let's talk about this slate, Stu. Huge slate. Really, actually, honestly, one of the better slates I've seen in a while, with the high-end arms, so some garbage arms, some early game starts. The DraftKings slate starts at 6:07, so I'll be looking at that a little bit. What are you liking today? What is your game of the day?
Yeah, it's tough because obviously we have what do you call it? We have basketball. It's just going to be we're a transparent podcast. Okay, that's the true big screen game of the day. But for me, the one that caught my eye, to be completely honest, was Julio Teheran going up against his former team. Like seeing that, I don't know, that really cracked me up. Like that, the first thing I saw last night was that matchup there, and he did better than I expected last year. To be completely honest with you, I mean, you would know obviously over there, but. Ooh, I don't believe in him at all at this point, and this is a guy with a lot of miles on the tires so far, going into one of the toughest lineups in the world. Like, I feel like that could be like, I don't know. I'm confused why the money line isn't like minus 300 in that game. It is more what I'm getting at right here. So I feel like that could be almost batting practice as. So I'll definitely have some bets in that one, and I'll definitely have my TV on that one on the little side screen today. Okay, we're not going big screen, but it will get a screen for sure.
Well, the thing is you can put it on the big screen because they're starting the game at like 9 o'clock, bro. So it's like,
oh, is it that late?
Dude, it's like 8:05.
Okay.
So you could probably get the full game in before they even start that.
9:20 my time.
Yeah,
Holy
8:20, dude. I don't even know if I'm gonna be watching that shit, bro. Like, I haven't watched any of the Final Four really. Like I would. They're trying to hype something that's not really there, in my opinion. It was not. It was just like I watched the girls' game before I watched their stuff.
Yeah,
and it's pretty funny because like I obviously didn't really watch much girls basketball prior to this season, but yeah, I haven't watched since the Illinois game with UConn. I'm like, dude, this team's just gonna roll everybody, bro. Like we needed a little bit more of like a team to stifle them a little bit, but it is what it is. I will be looking at the Astros game today, Astros Texas. I like that game quite a bit. Texas at home versus a lefty, a spot that's really tough. But it's Framber on the other side, my guy. I think that's going to be fun. I also think that Andrew Heaney gets absolutely murked tonight, like destroyed. I don't know how he gets through this. I saw his numbers against this lineup. 19% K rate through 156 at-bats is pretty awful. When that's really your only way to get guys out and you're a fly ball pitcher. So this is not a spot I want to be in if I'm Andrew Heaney. So I think this is a very high upside spot and probably a mini stack I'll take while everybody's, rolling Arizona, rolling the Braves. So I'm up for a little Houston. I think they have a good day today.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously one that you see as soon as you open up the app, right? To the best. I'm here right now. Can you hear me? It seems. Are we good? Seems like we got some mild connection issues.
Yeah,
here.
I can. There we go. Let's see. Are we good now?
I think you're a little delayed for me, but it should be pretty good.
Yeah, I'm good on my end now. I'm seeing you pretty well. I don't know what that was. That was just a weird spot. That was the eclipse early, bro. I think blocking all the.
Did you see that there's supposed to be early games today too? And apparently they like pushed them when the eclipse thing. They pushed them later, so that killed our day baseball.
I did not see that's the reason why. I saw that it's a 4:00 game. I'm like, who starts at 4? Like that does make a lot of sense because that's just this weird start time in Chicago there. So 25 of you guys in here in the first couple minutes. Hit that like button, guys. Appreciate it. We'll be moving on to our plays here momentarily. Stu, before we get going, did you want to put your take in on the college basketball game here?
I mean, I'm scared that it's going to be a blowout, but I want to see the two big men fight. I bet the UConn Klingen, I don't know how to pronounce his last name if I'm saying it right. Klingon. Yeah, I bet his under. That was a pretty popular play from some guys that I've been following all year long. Foul trouble with Edie and stuff like that. But that's really all I'm excited for. They're two essentially like, I don't know if Edie is going to be lottery with how bad this draft is. He'll get in the first round. But it's two guys that are going to be squaring off in the paint. That's what I'm most interested in. Right now, it feels like they can defend Edie better than most teams can. So I feel like UConn -6 is kind of the move in this one. But I just feel like everyone is on UConn, right? So I don't know. It's a tough one for me. But I'm excited to watch it. Hopefully fire off a couple props before start time,
Yeah, I'll be just a spectator. Like I said, I haven't bet on Final Four, or I'm not going to bet on this one. Obviously, lines are getting hit by a lot of people. And I think that this is a good time to just, stay off all these spots here. So I'm not even going to have a bet. I'll probably watch a little bit. 11 o'clock, bro, really going to make me stay up till 11 o'clock to fucking watch this shit, bro? Like, making me mess up my sleep schedule a little bit. I'm like, maybe once in a while, like my Tuesday, Thursdays, I know that I'm gonna stay up that late because they give me those late baseball games that start at like 9. And I like watching like the Dodgers or something before I go to bed. But now when you do it on a Monday, bro, like I'm gonna go back to back late days. Like, damn, man, they're trying to kill me out here. So yeah, let's get into this MLB slate. We got a lot of spots to get to. And I will kick it over to you for your first half unit spot.
Sounds good. We'll start out with the half unit right here. We're going Jung Ho Lee under a strikeout, -140. This one's pretty simple. It correlates with this is a guy that came over with the idea that you're betting on one of the best contact guys from overseas, and you're betting that those skills are going to translate. And that's been very impressive so far. He only had 4 strikeouts in all of spring training, which is just spring training, right? You don't actually know how you're going to acclimate after that. He struck out in the first game of the season. I give him a pass for that. Since then, he's only struck out in 2 of his last 9 games. So he stayed under in 7 of his last 9. And when you look at it, we're talking about Glasnow. We're talking about Cease, right? That was the Dodgers and the Padres series. Like, these aren't like great matchups for him, right? And now we go over to the Nationals. We're going Trevor Williams, a guy who I talk about a lot on this show, only struck out 13% of lefties last season. He just doesn't have whiff stuff. This is a guy, I bet against Trevor Williams a lot because his goal as a pitcher, which he's talked about plenty of times, is to let the other team put the ball in play, let your defenses make plays and get outs, right? When you're the 5th guy, right? When you're a contact pitcher like that, you're just trying to make it through these games and trying to, let your defense hopefully go to work for you. And that's a problem when you have a young, terrible defense behind you, right? And Lee is the kind of guy that he's putting the ball in play. Like when I look at his props, I thought I might get a little bit of a discount today in the hitting world, but that wasn't really the case, even with, some average start to the season. But even despite the average start, so 289 expected batting average so far. He's putting the ball in play. And for me, obviously, I want someone that's going to defend the strike zone here. And when you look at the bullpen, right, that's obviously where Washington can kill you. They did use all of their high leverage good relievers yesterday with Harvey and Finnegan going back to back. I imagine Harvey should still be available today, considering you only threw maybe 12 or 13 pitches, but he will be the closer role today because Finnegan will be unavailable. You actually have to make it to the closer to do that. And I don't know if you've looked at the rest of the Washington bullpen, it fucking sucks, right? So for me, even without Trevor Williams, there aren't like that many high stress guys that I'm worried about in this bullpen. I think Weems is a guy that'll come out. He has the flattest 100-mile-an-hour fastball I've ever seen in my life. So for me, I think this is a good matchup for Lee to keep on doing what he's been doing so far, which is putting the ball in play. And obviously, I don't think that'll lead to a strikeout. I think it'll lead to a hit, which I'll talk about a little bit later. So I think it'll be a good day for Lee. I think he continues to put the ball in play. I just don't think this is a good strikeout matchup for him, especially when he's had a bunch of tougher ones in his first 2 MLB series so far.
Yeah, don't mind that at all. No, and then you got to be winning to have your closer come in too.
Exactly.
So we got Snell coming in on his first start here. It'll be obviously a -220 money line. I'll definitely do that to you, make it a little tougher. So I'm going to start out with my plus money spot. I really like this spot tonight. I'm going to Harold Ramirez of the Tampa Bay Rays to record a hit. And James Paxton, 5 strikeouts tonight at +106. Harold Ramirez is a guy that I do like to back. Him and Yandy are usually my back and forth guys on this team. And obviously the season didn't start out great for him those first couple games, but you got the Coors games, you got the nice spots there. I know a lot of people talk about like Coors hangover when you go to other spots, but you're going to LA, right? I mean, this is gonna be a fun game. You're gonna want to play out there. You know, it's a big time game. You're getting the Angels and Tyler Anderson, who decided he was gonna shove on you in that first matchup. I don't really think the Marlins are even an MLB team at this point, dude. That team is god awful. And I think that the prices in these numbers are reflecting that, right? They're making these, like, I thought Harold against this guy is going to be minus 350. They're going to be like minus 275. And I think that's really fair because Harold Ramirez absolutely nukes lefties, and Tyler Anderson's going to be throwing exactly what he likes, right? If you look at Harold Ramirez last season against the three pitches that Tyler Anderson's going to feature, most of the time you look at his first game, 76% changeup four-seamer, 21% cutter, right? There's 2% where he throws the sinker there. Let's just look at the changeup four-seam cutter. Dude absolutely rakes, right? 392 average last year against the four-seamer. Woba almost 500, 586 or 670 slug against the four-seamer. Going against the cutter, 300 batting average. Absolutely smokes that as well. And then you go to changeups 313 with a 458 slug. I'm not a huge fan of this Angels bullpen either. So even if it gets to that point, I'm not really that worried, especially with Eflin on the mound, a guy who keeps the ball in play, keeps the ball going there. I think that they could definitely have the lead and we get a little bit of the worse arms. But I think Harold Ramirez is probably going to be in that 5-hole. Obviously, Yandy ends up leading off usually against lefties. And maybe we even get lucky and get Harold Ramirez moving up to the 3 and a Rosarena in the 2. Maybe we get Lau moved down like he usually does against lefties, which makes this even a better number. So I love Harold Ramirez in this spot. Going over to Paxton, I think this is – I'll talk about it later in my long shot spot because James Paxton will be a part of that. But, my God, like what better way do you want this matchup to be? Because the Twins are going to try and roll out. I'm not even kidding. They might not even play Kepler or Kirilloff because they never play them against lefties. But you look at Paxton, dude, this guy's a reverse splits guy and absolutely been mowing down righties. If you go to last year, right, he's had his home run issues, right? Giving up 15 homers to him last year in 75 innings. But in those 75 innings, this dude has 85% or 85 Ks in those spots, right? So this dude is striking out righties at a way higher clip. Against lefties last year, a 17% K rate. Against righties, 27, right? And now you're with the Dodgers, man. Now you got the best spot ever. You just fill up the zone, right? And the Minnesota Twins are going to oblige and swing at pretty much everything. Obviously, the Twins played the Brewers in those spots, and they got shoved down by, Joe Ross. Joe Ross ended up gave up no runs to these guys. And now you're going to go to a guy in Paxton who just got 90-plus pitches in his first start, which has always been an issue for me because I never know with his pitch count. When he was out in Boston, they were really, really cautious with him. But, dude, even going to end of last year, he started feeling it and getting a nice K rate there, 29%. I think this is a great spot for him. And like I said, the Twins are one of those teams that is very, very reliant on platoons. And it might be now without Kepler Kepler out in San Francisco. This might be the team that platoons the most, right, with Baldelli there. So I think that we could definitely see an 8-9 right-handed lineup here. And I think Paxton absolutely mows. I think this is a great spot for him.
Yeah, I mean, I always like targeting the Twins, but like you said, obviously that it's a killer matchup. And I'm curious, do you think like we're gonna see that stop? Because I've noticed it too, where these reverse splits guys still get the matchups that they like. You know what I mean? They still do platoon the managers. Do you think that's something that's like going to slow down pretty soon? Because I've definitely noticed it's not so far.
Well, the thing is this is for the Twins. This is what they want. They want a guy like this that gives up a lot of power, and they're used to striking out this much. So it's like okay, we give up Paxton, and you're going up there trying to hit a bomb. Really, that's what the Twins are going to try to do when you're in Minnesota here. That's why I said the strikeout matchup is phenomenal, right? It's phenomenal, but also they're going to be going out there looking for a pitch and trying to hit a bomb, right? So if they strike out 10 times, I don't think they care. I really don't, because it takes 2 of their swings to get the runs that they want. I think a really important one is Royce Lewis being out. Obviously, I like him as a player, but that's a big miss, dude. That is a huge miss. You don't have Polanco in the middle of that lineup either, which I think is a huge miss because he was obviously a switch hitter and was pretty good from the right side, which made this lineup look a little bit better. But you're going to lose Kirilloff, who's probably their best hitter right now, who absolutely destroyed in the Brewers series. You're going to have Kepler, who's a mainstay in the 3-4-5 hole, not going to be in the lineup. He doesn't hit against lefties. And I think that we're going to have a great lineup construction that we're going to want to back with Paxton, especially in a spot where the Dodgers should be able to score runs because Bailey Ober got absolutely destroyed in that first matchup. So I think that this is a great spot for Paxton. But in agreement to you, I don't think it's going to change because I think he does still give up power to them, but it's just the strikeouts are going to be way up because that this is what he's been going against his whole career. You got to be able to get righties out because they're just going to keep doing it. And he doesn't give up that much power to lefties, which obviously is nice. So.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Obviously, you definitely want to take advantage of the team tendencies. So getting at plus money, too. Like you said, always like fading the Twins in a matchup like this. So definitely locking this one in right here.
Beautiful. Willie Castro, 10 Ks on 14 ABs versus Cleveland's starting pitcher today, targeting 1 ABK, one first at-bat strikeout for Castro. Willie Castro's on the Twins, correct? I believe he's a Twin still, right? Or did he get moved? I used to love backing him for the Twins.
I was going to say, he's on the fucking White Sox, I believe, is where he's at right now.
Check their lineup here.
Let's see.
The White Sox lineup came out: Grossman, Moncada, Sheets, Vaughn, Benintendi, Shoemake, Lee, Lopez. So he's not on the White Sox.
Oh, he's on the Twins. You're fucking right.
Yeah. I was gonna say I don't think he's there. So I'm curious to what he's saying there, because Cleveland plays the White Sox at 4. But yeah, no, I like Willie Castro. He's actually a really good player. He's even at the 9 hole. So I don't even mind if you want to go with him to strike out against Paxton there. I think that's a great spot too. He's a guy he's just trying to get on base. But obviously you're going to see Paxton just absolutely light him up. So hoping for a big night from him. I'm going to probably be a lot over the field on Paxton in DFS. I can't imagine he's very highly owned tonight. So I really like this spot for him. And we head over to your play. We got 37 of you guys in here live. Hit that like button, guys. I'll have to go check. Let's get this at least 20 here in the next couple minutes because Stu's bringing in another play for you guys right now. Play number 3.
Sounds good. We're going Jung Ho Lee, Jose Altuve, both to record a hit, -114 over on FanDuel. We'll start with Altuve since we just talked a little bit of Lee. Obviously on fire to start the season, but even beyond the hot hitting right here, one, always going to take Altuve in a matchup I like against a lefty. One, that's where we like to get him. 2, the career history in this matchup is over insane with a huge amount of history. But more important than that, and it's what I always really talk about with these hit parlays and stuff, I love Altuve pretty much across the board against anyone that's going to be throwing their 4-seamer like more than 50 or 60% of the time. Because time after time, every single year, you pull up that baseball savant, he crushes the 4-seamer. And Altuve is an amazing hitter. He's going to crush everything, right? 464 on the 4-seamer, even better against the lefty 4-seamer so far this year, and then over 360 last season as well. And he's going to be seeing it so far 60% of the time with the slider coming in as well. Another pitch Altuve happens to hit very well. For me, this is just kind of a great combination of obviously a matchup that he has good history in, obviously a hitter that's insane to start the season. It's one of the most consistent guys we have in baseball. I just think he's mispriced right now. He's sitting in that like 240 range over on FanDuel. I believe DraftKings, I'm not sure if it's a little bit higher, but it looked a little bit higher when I was checking earlier. To me, it just seems like one of those great matchups where he's simply mispriced against someone that he's had a lot of success with. And I think Lee is obviously a little bit of the harder to explain one for people. But so far this season, like I said, with the strikeout stuff, he's been good at getting his bat on the ball. And that's really what we're looking for against a guy like Trevor Williams. I was explaining it earlier, right? He's a contact pitcher, right? A lot of stuff gets put in play. Lee's actually been crushing it so far. And I think, honestly, his prop opening at 320 is indicative, even with the last couple days. Because to me, I thought he might have been maybe more of a soft contact guy, but when you look at the numbers, I mean, the maximum and average exit velocities are both 90th percentile so far. Obviously, a small sample size, but the 289 expected batting average, the hard hit ball so far, he's kind of crushing the ball. And I think it's just the fact that he's played against some tough teams, some tougher pitching. For me, this Washington matchup seems like an awesome series for him to have a lot of success. The hits, runs, RBIs was around minus 170, minus 180, which obviously what I was hoping to get right here. But I really think the contact skills are going to shine against a really unfortunate Washington pitching staff, not just the starters, but also the bullpen as well. So love getting both these guys at a reasonable price right here. I think I'm probably going to bet on both of them a decent amount this season. Obviously, Altuve has already been bet on a lot so far, but very consistent for the hit parlays, and I like the price a lot right here.
Yeah, I love Altuve tonight. I think I'm going to probably be going to him before going to Ketel Marte, who's going to be like 50% owned tonight because he's obviously in Coors against Kyle Freeland. So I like that as a contrarian spot here. I talked about the Astros already as a spot I like. Altuve's numbers, obviously, against Mr. Heaney is pretty nice. So even like I said, and I know you agree or you have agreed to this. It's not the first thing you look at, but it's something that just a little feather in the cap makes you feel a little bit better about where you're going there. So love that spot. I'm going to be going to a game that I thought I'd be on the Luis Castillo side, but the more I look at it, I think I'm going to be rolling on the Berrios side. Castillo, obviously one of my favorite guys. I like when you have a pitcher go against another ace. I think that's great. I think that helps you out and has those pitchers throw a little better. Berrios damn near might be the ace of this team with how Gausman's been just absolute cheeks. So Berrios under 2.5 earned runs is the main spot here. I'll talk about Freeland just right away. I mean, the lefty against Arizona anywhere is a tough spot, especially when you have Suarez in that lineup now. Yeah, Christian Walker hitting the ball pretty well to start the season, and Gurriel's just starting out hot. So all of them crushed lefties. Yeah, you get to get one lefty in that top spot, and that's going to be Corbin Carroll, who's elite. So love that spot. Berrios is the spot I really want to talk about here. He is in Toronto today in this matchup. I like this spot for him because the power that you're going to give up in this spot is going to be to the righties, right? The right hand, the lefties have a harder time of hitting homers here, right? Because it's just that right center spot is so deep, really tough spot. The power gets played up to righties. Berrios is very good at not giving up power to righties. The power he gives up is to lefties. And I'm not really worried about that many of them in this spot when you have to go another 20 feet to hit a homer, right? You have J.P. Crawford at the top, right? Not really worried about power with him. Jorge Polanco, not a big power hitter there either. And then obviously you get to negate a little bit of that Julio Rodriguez. Losing Eugenio Suarez for this lineup is really detrimental because I just don't really like this lineup. I was just at the Brewers game watching this lineup, and it was just not a great performance. Like this lineup was getting shoved on by DL Hall, bro. Like DL Hall gave up soft contact after soft contact, and then the Brewers threw Colin Rea yesterday, and he nuked him. Jose Berrios is a extremely way better version of Colin Rea because Colin Rea does the same thing, throwing that heavy sinker with that slider. And Colin Rea looked good against these guys. Now you're going to Toronto, tough spot for them to hit. And that's a tough road trip, right? To go right from there, right up to Toronto. You play in a spot against Berrios, who's not given up 3 runs yet this year. And like I said, the play up power on the lefty side, I'm not worried about as much with the lefties that we're seeing there. You're gonna have to be Kyle Schwarber-esque to get that ball out of here in this spot. Again, if you want to go to hitter or batter hitter spots, just so I can get the percentages here. 19 Ks for these guys, the projected lineup in 55 at bats. That comes out to a 34% K rate, a 182 batting average against the lineup. And 2 for 3 is Julio Rodriguez because he's Julio Rodriguez. That's like how bad the rest of this lineup is. So like the spot. I really like Berrios across the board. I like him in strikeouts as well tonight. But I think this is the best way to play him. Minus 150 gets us to a nice price there. Minus 105, adding in Freeland, who has been just obviously one of the worst pitchers in baseball to start the season. And he hasn't even thrown in Coors yet. He hasn't even got a home game yet. And this boy's getting rocked. So I think this is a great price to have both of these here.
100%. Yeah. And I mean, we talked about it earlier too with Berrios always the guy that scares me, but he does have like these really like high end performances. And I feel like a lot of them come against some of the weaker offenses. And like you mentioned, the Mariners are just like anemic. Like they're not threatening. You know what I mean? It's just like they have J-Rod, obviously. That guy's a killer. But beyond that, there's no one to be scared of here. And I think this might just be one of those low-scoring, kind of ugly games on both sides, especially with Castillo and how Toronto has been so far as well. So I feel like, to me, this kind of profiles is the perfect kind of like low-scoring, ugly game to cash an under right here.
Yeah, I don't mind either side. I like both. I like the under. If we had to go to a spot for sure in this game, if you had to pick a side, I definitely would pick the under in this one. So, Stu, we're through it all. We got 36 of you guys live. Like I said, hit that like button, guys. We'll do our recap right now and get to some long shots. So we'll start with you, Stu.
Sounds good. We got Jung Ho Lee and Jose Altuve both to record a hit, -114. Then we got Lee to stay under 1 strikeout, -140, playing that for half a unit.
Beautiful. And I'll be on Jose Berrios, under 2.5 earned runs with Kyle Freeland, no win, to go along with Harold Ramirez to record a hit. James Paxton, 5Ks. Another spot at plus money there. Stu, what is the long shot for you on the slate here as we have a nice 13, 14 gamer today?
Yeah, I'm gonna be nice to you guys, and I'm not gonna include it in the Nationals game because I love playing Nationals stolen bases. That'll be a theme all year long. Your Brewers, obviously, it will be another team I'll be targeting a lot. Philosophy is very important with stolen bases, and if a team is letting you know that we're ready to run this year, then listen to them, right? So for me, I will say I'm gonna have a lot of Washington home run picks so far. For me. Stolen bases. I'm going to the home run, though. We cashed it before. I'm going to a Brewer. I'm going Rhys Hoskins to hit a bomb in this one right here. Let me find the best price on the market real quick with what we got. But for me, the reason I'm doing this, there's going to be a couple long shot picks today. Make sure, follow on Twitter, all that stuff. I've had success doing justice to the show and fading some familiar faces. And I'd love to fade Graham Ashcraft coming out the start right here, especially with down velocity in his first start. The one thing I thought we could go higher, Graham. I like Graham Ashcraft a lot at the beginning of last year. I was seeing the potential, but we have not seen that through so far. And what really kills him is obviously the power here. I didn't say the number, by the way. 325 is the best I'm seeing right now on the market. For me, the best way I faded Graham Ashcraft all of last year and will continue to do this year is going to be with the power, right, against these opposing bombs. And the only problem with your Brewers is you guys got a couple guys that kind of fit the bill. But Hoskins, for me, has been, one of the most dependable bets. And I like him in this matchup against a very, hard sinker-focused Ashcraft in this one right here.
Yeah, he's been doing a good job of getting the ball off the ground, which is what you're looking for, obviously. And you got the best spot ever to hit homers, the number one spot to boost power. Should be nice outside too. So do not mind that look at all. Just missed one this weekend when I was at the game. Just missed one, bases loaded. Probably about an inch off the barrel. Went straight up into almost at the top of the dome. So definitely could have been another one there. Would have brought this down even a little bit more. Yeah. I'm going back to Paxton, dude. I don't care. I think. I know I don't like going to the same guy I'm rolling with in a bet already, but I just think the value is way too high here for a guy who we've already seen almost throw 100 pitches this early in the season. You don't see these numbers this high very often. You saw Paxton last year. We've had peak games, right? It's not like James Paxton is not a guy that can get these strikeouts. We've seen games throughout his career where he's just, got on a roll there, right? He had 5 walks in that last game as well. Well, what's nice? Twins don't walk. They just go up there and they're hacking, right? Just wanting to look at last year's numbers. Didn't have a ton of those huge games in the end of the season, but beginning of the season, man, which is where we are now, right? Beginning of the year last year, he went 9-5-5, 8-9, 8-7, 3-7. That was his first 2 months. You see a lot of these older pitchers start to wear down a little bit towards that second half of the year. So seeing the velo up, seeing how he's done in these last couple of years, beginning of the season, I think this is a great spot. 8 strikeouts at 5-1 just seems a little ridiculous with a team like this Twin side.
Yeah, I like this a lot. I'm definitely riding with you on the Paxton ladder right here. I mean, like you said, obviously he's shown the high upside in the past, and obviously that's really the key. You want someone that isn't just going to give you 5 or 6, right? They have the ability to give you that 10K game. And obviously earlier in the year, having proof that they've actually been a little bit more stretched out is always a positive as well, with pitch counts being, a little bit up in the air at this point. So definitely like this look.
Yeah, and a team that, wants to probably roll them out there, right? I mean, you're going to get runs. That's the nice part is you're going to get runs on your side. So, like, 2 runs, you're not going to pull them. Like, the Brewers are going to have to pull them because they can't score that much. Outside of yesterday, Chirio's legit, man. Contreras have been playing good ball. But, yeah, some of those teams where you have to manufacture runs. You got the Dodgers, bro. They got 3 MVPs on that team. They don't need to do shit. Let's just keep going. And obviously one of the best hitting catchers in the 4-hole, right? I mean, its lineup is so deep, dude. It's crazy. Teoscar Hernandez leading right on the top of the MLB in scoring or home runs, batting 6. Crazy, dude. This lineup is nuts. It's
unfair, especially when you look at what that rotation could look like next year with Ohtani. All the rumors that the Roki guy, who's like the best they got over there, is already agreed to come or whatever. Like, whatever. Let's just root against the Dodgers. They're not going to win. They never it'll fall apart. I have confidence it'll fall apart.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Cubs put a beating on them over the weekend. So, all right. So, anything else for the people here before we head out?
Yeah, the only other thing, I'll probably play some Atlanta alt lines. Like I said earlier, I have Olsen home run. That felt a little less cool, because it's Matt Olsen. It's a lot of home runs, But I think like that game will be a little bit fun for me to watch later as well. But yeah, make sure you're following over on Twitter if you want updated picks, plays, information, all that kind of stuff. That's where we update about this show. Let you know when we're live, let you know when we're at other places, and just all of our best bets and all that stuff in general. So make sure you're following over on Twitter for all the most updated bets.
Yes, sir. And we might have to make a little DraftKings thing for the group in here again, as we did a couple times, I believe, for the NFL season, since it's the Masters. Might as well make one. We'll have to see if yours works yet. We'll have to get that working because
figure it out.
Yeah. I think I already got my stuff I'm picking up for DK, getting my lineups ready. I'm only gonna do one. I'm not gonna be crazy and bet like 20 lineups, but I think it's a good spot to talk about some Masters spots and UFC 300 on the weekend, man. Oh man, it's gonna be epic week for your boy. Hoping we can continue to cash a couple tickets.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd care about UFC 300, to be honest, but I did see a lot of bars are doing great promotions. So I will be there. I'm in. I'll be tailing your bets as always. So yeah, make sure to follow his UFC bets if you're not already. Definitely some good shit there, making me money on guys I've legitimately never heard of before, like ever.
Yeah, you just gotta. I mean, they're pretty easy when you have guys with the last name Ov. Just assume they're Russian and they're the white guy with the bald head or the huge beard, right? So that's probably your best bet of just kind of guessing who they are, because about half the UFC lineup is all that. So, but it should be a fun card. Obviously, you can get a lot of the big names in there too. So, all right, Stu, I think that's it. I think we're good. Good show today. Obviously, it's 30 of you guys still with us. Again, if you could hit that like button on your way out, we'll be back Wednesday. We'll figure something out for that master spot, Terrence. Don't worry, we'll figure out if we're going to do something like that for the group here. But make sure you guys are following both of us on Twitter. Have the notifications on. We might go early because Wednesdays usually have that early MLB slate. So just make sure you're tuning in. Obviously, it's tough for us because we can't really plan ahead on that well with all these games, and we're going and doing stuff every single day, trying to get everything out for you guys on Twitter already. So make sure you pop over there, have the notification bell on. We'll let you know a little bit ahead of time. So thank you guys. Best of luck tonight, and let's cash some more tickets. Have a good one.